How you
Hi,
doing?
Brandon.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
So Brandon Dipty, did you have a chance to look at the guidelines from Steve Tilley? Wait, it's 8 o'clock, right? We're live.
I was just gonna say,
Okay,
you
so
can start. I'm gonna start.
Okay, so good evening, everyone. Today is the meeting of the AHRB. We have 3 items on the agenda, and the next meeting will be on January 25th. So why don't we start with the first one is Livingston and Stanley Avenue, Regency, signs application.
I think I see one person here. John, can you hear us?
Yes, I can.
Am I promoting anyone else, or is it just you?
I believe some people are watching. Do you see a Sam Applegate and a Bryn Peslowski also?
Yes.
Yeah. Just in case if they could be promoted as well, that'd be great.
Okay. That's no problem.
And then also Gregory Manning if he's available as well.
He's not on yet, but if I see him, I'll put him on.
We should be fine.
Okay.
John, why don't we start with your presentation? If you can share a screen and show what you guys are proposing?
Absolutely. Why don't actually, Sam, why don't you share your screen and just go over the technicals, and then I'll jump in and kind of give any background on the business model or what the intent is.
Okay.
Sure. Give me a second to pull up the construction drawings here. Find the mute button. Can everyone see my screen okay?
Yes, perfect.
All right. So we are proposing an electric vehicle charging installation at Rivertown Square. These would be 2 level 2 charging stations located within the parking garage. So you can see we're pulling from the electrical room here. The charging stations are approximately located here on the first floor of the parking garage. This is obviously an aerial view. Here's a zoomed in look at the installation. And here is an overview of what the charging station looks like. It contains digital LED screens on the charging station, which provide sponsorship displays for us to provide the charging free to the driver. John, if you want to take over talking about our business model, I'll hand it up to you. I'll see if I can find a better, larger photo so that everyone can see what we're talking about.
No problem. I'll share my screen because I have some visuals. All right. Hey, folks. Can you see my screen?
Yes.
Perfect. All right. So I have the pleasure of working for Volta, and I'm boots on the ground in the Northeast. I'm a Jersey guy. Don't hold it against me, but I'm responsible for putting for building our network out in the greater New York area. And the reason we're coming to you today is to explain the nature of our business model and to ensure you that in this particular case, this will not actually be visible in any right of way. But Volta is a really unique business case where we said there has to be a better way to install electric vehicle charging as people start to drive more electric vehicles rather than just reselling electricity. So we said, why don't we put them in highly trafficked, public locations where a lot of people can see them, and then we'd open them up for sponsorship opportunities for forward-thinking businesses. Kind of a radical idea 10 years ago and started in Hawaii, but lo and behold, when Tesla's the probably third most valuable company in the world, it's starting to make a lot of sense. So we are expanding into the greater New York metro area with haste this year. Hopefully, COVID in the world will allow us to, and we want to put in a couple hundred of these stations. So we really just want to come in here and put our best foot forward and explain exactly who we work with, how we work with them, and what you can expect at this installation in the future. So if you wanted to open up any questions on how the public uses the stations or just in general about our business model, that's really why I'm here to answer any questions.
I have a question, John.
Mhm.
So how do you pay for this?
That's the beauty of it. The driver doesn't pay anything, and we make our money purely off the media and the advertising. So for instance, we really like grocery stores. So if we put our stations in front of grocery stores, Procter & Gamble or Unilever or Kraft will be very interesting in buying that sponsorship space, because not only is it them communicating with, purchasers right before they're walking into a grocery store, but it also gives the brand sort of a halo effect, or a lift as we call it, because they're literally fueling free electric miles. Like, they're fueling this entire business.
And is that a post behind the box? I mean, are you like tapping into electricity there? How does?
Everything's,
Oh, I see. It was just a post in the background.
bingo. Everything's run underground. Everything's built on a concrete pad. We are, now that we've put over 1,500 stations in the ground nationwide, and hopefully plans to double and triple that very soon, we've kind of planned for every contingency, so including putting protection like bollards around it.
And what's the criteria for the selection of the locations?
Great question. For us, it's a combination of, the first and foremost, it's foot traffic, but a close second is also electric vehicle adoption. Because although we make money off the media, we want to serve, the highest good for everyone. So we look at things like the demographics of an area, EV adoption, and foot traffic, and then also the physically where we can go on a site before we triangulate exactly how we're going to deploy this infrastructure. So a lot of fun, but a lot of moving parts.
Right. So why did you decide to go into the Chauncey Square or Rivertown Square and not, I don't know, downtown?
So funny you mentioned that, but I would love to talk about bringing stations to downtown if that's what this leads to. We just started the initial conversations and rollout of the network with the largest retail landowners in the country. So Regency Centers is a big partner. Brookfield is.
So you approach landowners then?
Yes.
Right?
Yep. And I think Sam and Brink can attest to this, but there's an interesting, not even an experiment, but an initiative going on in the Northeast where municipalities and public land people spend a lot of time there. So we're actually figuring out a way to bring this infrastructure to public land. And that's exciting for us.
John, how bright are those screens? Like the luminous on the?
Yeah, that was my next question to Dan and John. Are we compliant in terms of lumens and displays?
Technically, it is adjustable. Sam knows the exact answer and can probably answer better than I can.
Sure. I'm not sure. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
I'm sorry. Sorry. I just want to bring this question to Dan and John Stone. I'm saying. In terms of compliance for advertising, I'm not so sure how to read the building code regarding this. Okay, just full disclaimer and in full support of this idea. I think it's the charge stations, they look great, and it's a need that I fully support. But in terms of code compliance, that's I don't know how to go about it?
It's code compliant
Okay.
if the luminas are less than, I believe it's 4 at the property line.
Right.
And because there is a residential, there's a house there next to where you're putting them. So that's our concern. We don't want it too bright. And if it is, can we turn it down a little bit or?
So we're talking about the house next to the school.
Parking lot right there. Yep.
Right. So we can reorient the location, or right?
We
can move it away from the house so it doesn't interfere. Because I will assume that the selection of the locations of these charging stations are somehow flexible. Is that correct?
The actual locations of the charging station at this point is actually not flexible because a lot of work went into this.
It's already okay. I see.
But as far as changing the lumens or literally the illumination, especially at night, that's something we can do.
Yeah. Or we can issue some, install some blockers that if
like
a landscape. I don't know.
Or even like you said, I don't know if at night when nobody's using it, when the store's closed, does it go black or something like that? I don't know if you could do that with it.
That is all up for discussion, and those are common discussions. So yes.
Okay.
Please.
Can I I just had a quick question. Can I get a better understanding of the location being proposed right now, or is it just a kind of an open, because I think I saw the drawing in the plan. I just wanted to get a better understanding of where it's being proposed currently. So
it's actually underneath. It's not the exposed parking, Brandon. It's underneath.
Oh,
like
it's
right
by where Starbucks is.
It's underneath. It's in the structure underneath the parking deck.
Correct.
Yes.
right.
And it's in the
It's well within the property line, right?
yes, and it's in the first row of parking spaces after you come out of the store.
Is the display both sides as well, or is it only facing at the charging vehicle?
Both sides.
Okay, so that would be, I mean, right.
That's fine. I think it's.
Yeah, no, I'm not. I just wanted to get a better understanding from a plan perspective where I didn't know if I saw the actual parking layout spot that it was. I saw the electrical drawing that was on screen. So
They had another site plan showing it underneath in the.
Let me see if I can bring it up. I believe I have it.
Yeah.
Let me see if I can zoom in. No, wrong document.
I just did a quick calculation. We're 130 feet from that house.
Okay.
Sam, do you want to bring the drawings back up?
Yeah, sure. And again, it's an overhead view of the garage. We don't have the specific site plan with the stalls, but this would be on the first floor interior to the parking garage. So really we're doing our best to limit visibility to the right of way or to the house that you're speaking of.
Yeah.
Okay. And these are the two locations that we're going to have?
Yes, yes.
Right. And how people know that there's a charging station? There's an app that they tell you.
There is an app, and if anyone happens to be either an electric vehicle owner or an aficionado, you can either use our app, or there is kind of a universal app known as PlugShare. And
Okay.
PlugShare aggregates every single network, not just ours. So those are the two main ways people will find us.
Very interesting. Okay.
So these are right at the entry to Mom's, right? So, okay.
And just curious, is it a video display or a static display? I'm curious.
It is static. It rotates every 8 seconds. I'll just leave it at this. There is such thing as limited motion, which is within NHTSA standards. It's not something that we use commonly because it's expensive to put together for the partners, and it's not something that we can really scale effectively. So static.
Cool.
Interesting. Google doesn't show up, like they show gas stations in the vicinity. Don't show this.
Google will. Google will, but the way so when I worked at Tesla for many years, I actually worked in the Mount Kisco locations for a few times. But the idea is when people commit to buying an electric car, there's a certain amount of education that goes into it. So it just created that platform that is PlugShare. Everybody was interested. So instead of going to Google, which is the logical choice, this app just became the source of all information.
Interesting. And do you see people are going to line up to charge their cars here since it's free?
Great question. If they do, we will be installing more, or I say we will be asking you to install more. But yes, by virtue of them being free, we are proud to say we're the most heavily utilized charging network in the country. So that's definitely part of the business model.
So what other benefit from a municipal point of view, or what benefit a municipality will have by putting these charging stations on the common parking lot, besides satisfying the need of?
So if I can sort of make my municipality sales pitch, the reason why I think this is really fascinating for public-private partnerships and actually going on town land is that it's a really interesting advertising tool for small business as well. And the contracts that we've negotiated in New Jersey, and specifically our test bed, is the town of Westfield, which is, a really awesome, it's a really great, well-known downtown that has a great central business district. We pre-negotiated a discount on all the advertising space for small business. So we're trying to use this as a tool for, public messaging and as well as local commerce first, and then also obviously open it up for national advertising. I don't know. I think a perfect world would be if we could put, 30-40% small business and then 50% automakers, because they really like this platform for all new electric vehicles. That's a tremendous win in my book, and I do it in pretty much every premier town across the Eastern Seaboard.
Okay, all right. So let's understand that 90% of what we are talking is about curiosity more than approval.
Totally, but I expect it.
Which,
Absolutely, thank you.
Which we can wrap up the conversation. I think it's something to be welcome in our town. So, any other questions, Brandon? Any comments?
I didn't know if there's any neighbors or anything. That was it.
Okay. So
I don't see anyone.
Yeah. So I make a motion that we approve this application, pending confirmation on the code compliance of luminosity or by our building inspectors. And do I have a second?
Second.
Deepti seconds. All in favor? Thank you. Good luck, John and Sam. Thank you for sharing these thoughts, and good luck.
Thank you very much. And John Stone, pleasure to meet in person, because I think you responded to a cold call or email 12 months ago. So thanks for sticking it with us.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
Thanks.
So let's go to the next application on the agenda, which is 110 Buena Vista Drive. Christine Jacob. An addition.
Christine, can you hear us? And I think Christina's on too. Christina, can you hear us?
Hi, how are you? Good evening.
Evening.
How are you?
Hey, how are you?
Good. Well, I'm here to show you an addition to a single family house at 110 Buena Vista. Hold on and I will share the screen. Okay. Okay, second. Now, can everyone see the drawing?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
I'm going to go right to the photographs, I think, of the house. Okay. This is a house that's around 1,200 square feet. It's a very cute cottage-like style. You can barely see it from these pictures because of all the trees surrounding it. But these photographs show from left to right, the view from the street from Buena Vista. Has a little porch. It's a 1.5 story house with one room on the second floor. And in the back, in the north and northeast view, on the back here, there's a small kind of shed-like bump out that we're planning to rebuild. It doesn't have a footing, so we're putting a new structure here to take its place. We're going to be adding about 320 square feet to the house. I'm going to go back to our drawings. So this is our site plan here. We have received a zoning variance to put the addition in the back, and it's really because we're extending the non-conforming setback that already exists. We're putting the addition right where the that little shed is right now, and we're also going to extend the second floor. These are our existing floor plans, just so you know. This is a house that has a bedroom on the first floor, has this little sunroom in the back, and a room on the second floor. And what we're planning to do is to renovate the kitchen, expand it so that it goes into the new addition on the back, add a pantry. And on the second floor, we're going to reorganize the space that's up there and extend it towards the back so we can create a master bedroom and master bath. Here are elevations. Okay. This is the front of the house. And if we go in a little closer, you might see a dashed line here. What we're proposing is that we extend the front plane of the roof upwards so that we can get the space in the back, because we wanted to keep the look of the house from the street. We're keeping the dormer and the porch in the front. On the side, I'm going to go to the south elevation. Here we go, which is where you'll see, if you see there's a dashed line here, what we're planning to do is extend the roof upwards and back down, have a gable roof in the back, and rebuild the structure below the 1-story piece and have a new shed roof there. On the other side of the house, you see the roof extended upwards. We're adding a new window at the kitchen. And then at the back of the house, we're planning to have much more glass because this faces the backyard. So down below, we'll have big sliding doors off the kitchen. And then above, these are the windows in the master bedroom suite. They're actually egress casement windows, but they're made to look like the double hung windows that the rest of the house has. All the materials on the house are it's actually aluminum siding to match existing. And we're introducing 5/4 by 4 AZAC trim, which doesn't exist right now at all the new openings. And I'm going to jump to now our color scheme. Oh, by the way, we were asked to provide sky exposure diagrams for this project by the building department. So we did, and just for your information, on one side of the house, sorry, let me get, if you look at the west elevation on one side of the house, the existing house is non-conforming just on the corner of the roof. So when we extend the roof up, we also have a piece of that roof into the sky exposure plane. All the other planes, the house seems to fit. Let me bring that back down. Okay. And now on the back, I'm going to show you our color scheme. These are just our building sections showing the 1-story addition, and then the 2-story and the second floor addition. And then our last sheet. Well, here is our streetscape and our 110 Buena Vista is here between showing the houses at the north and the south, and then another house down the road. And as you can see, it's one of the smallest houses on the street, even with the extension to the roof. And these are a few other houses that are on the street that are also larger in size. Some of them have gables, some of them hip roofs. And this is our color scheme. This is showing that we are planning to have black clad windows that are made to look like double hung windows by their Marvin Essential windows. The sliding doors are also Marvin Essential black clad. The light fixtures will have a darker charcoal gray, almost black finish on it. And all the siding will actually be aluminum to match existing, but we will have 5/4 by 4 wide trim at the windows and a 1x8 rake board, which is a little bit of a detail at these little dental blocks at the gable end wall. All the gutters will be white, and so we are hoping that this will blend nicely in with the existing house. Do you have any questions for us?
Thank you, Christine, for presenting this to us. Deepti, Brandon, Paul, any comments, questions?
Christina, Happy New Year.
Happy New Year, Deepti.
One quick question. I didn't know you could still get aluminum siding. I thought you sort of can't get aluminum siding anymore.
You can. We did some research,
Uh-huh.
and we have a contractor who found that we can match that aluminum siding that's there. And the reason really is at this point in time, it just doesn't fit the budget to replace the siding. We also looked at that idea, and it's just not going to work for this phase for maybe some time in the future. So yes, we actually went through the trouble of looking for, or at least I asked the contractor to look for the aluminum siding, and he did find it, and that's what we're going to do. Same size, same color.
Yeah, it's a nice little project.
Brandon?
I guess, can you just go back to the sky exposure plane real quick? I just wanted to understand the side again of which, because it didn't seem like it was.
We blow it up for you. Okay. So here are our 4 elevations, but where the house comes into the sky exposure plane is in the front, where the grade is the lowest when it's parallel to the facade. So that means that, that's the worst condition. And on this side of the house, we are close to the property line, and the existing house is into the sky exposure plane. So in order to extend the roof up, we will also be in the sky exposure plane.
Yeah, I mean, even with that, I know that. I don't have any objection to it. I think because of the design of the house is in keeping with trying to maintain what's there, and I think it's a nice project. So I'm not opposed to the encroachment on the sky exposure plane. I know the existing house already does that. I just want to understand. I didn't know if there was any other property owners that, or the neighbors that are either in favor or have endorsed it or are here to speak. But that would be my only comment, is if any of the neighbors have any comments, especially the neighbor on that side of the property line. Do you have a photo of the house directly next to it on that side, on your streetscape?
I think so.
And there's nobody with their hands raised right now.
Okay.
And we got no emails with any concerns about the project.
Mm-hmm.
intrusion in the sky exposure plane from the street is really not a big deal because the house is so far above the street. The angle, it's really going to be difficult to see.
Yeah.
Because of the angle of the roof line from the street.
Christine, if you can, do you have the plot plan as well when you have a chance?
Yeah, that might be helpful.
The plot plan or the neighborhood plan?
No, the plot plan. I want
Plot
to see
plan?
the
I also, it's, you know, the sky exposure plane is taken on the parallel to the front facade, and you know, the roof goes up and away from that plane.
That's what I'm saying, because
So
what's happening is
Right.
if
Yep.
you do like a 3D envelope,
Right.
the encroachment to the sky exposure plane is minimal, and
Right.
I would assume that this is the type of cases that if you try to comply with the sky exposure, it will be more noticeable than what it is now, because the extension is more in keeping with the character of the house than trying to, you know, comply with this sky exposure concept, plane concept. So I think that in this case, the addition works in favor of the house. So I will.
I agree with that completely. Also, Christina, on the north and south elevation, I don't see the front-facing dormer on the elevations. Because there's a dormer at the front of the house, right?
Yes.
Am I just not seeing it?
Oh, yeah. Actually, somehow I think we had it here once, but we took it out because of the notes, but we can make sure that's on there.
Yeah.
Yeah, there should be, I mean, if you're looking at the side here, you'll see the dormer beyond. Yes.
Yeah, it's an existing condition, right? So it's,
yeah.
So it's fine. All right. Any other comments, questions? Deepti? Okay.
No, I agree with you, Yair. I think that this encroachment is minimal.
Yeah. So I'll make a motion to approve this application as submitted. No need to mention anything else. So do I have a second?
Second.
Deepti seconds, all in favor. Thank you, Christine. And
welcome. Nice to see you. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
So the next item on the agenda will be 60 Washington Avenue.
Patty, can you hear us?
I can hear you, and hopefully you're going to see me in a second. Let's see. Yes. Hello. Happy New Year.
Hello.
So since I was, I'm a neighbor of this property, I think I'm going to recuse myself. Let my fellow board members enjoy the conversation. So
can we have the two alternatives step up so we're not operating at a disadvantage?
We have a quorum, so enjoy the discussion.
Okay, so what I'll do is hopefully get this to work. And can you see it?
Yes, we can see it.
Okay, a little different than the previous one. This house is up in the woods off of Washington. You can't really see the house from Washington. And what we're proposing to do is a very, very small addition. This is a project we've been working on since, I think, 2010. And it's somebody who's done small projects about every 1.5 to 2 years. And now he wants to finish it so he can sell it. Down here, here, I think this one will blow it up. Yeah. Here's the house, you know, Washington's down here. So you come up this relatively long driveway. This used to be the coach house for the main house that's back there. These properties were all subdivided and this lot was created. I think most people assumed this would be taken down, but Serge Casarda bought it and he fixed it up. He's done a relatively nice job, although very slowly. And what we're doing at this point just affects this area on the, if you will, north side. I guess it's not really a back. I don't think this house has front and back. But we're looking to fill in between the 3 existing dormers with a shed dormer, so that we can get the head height necessary to basically turn 1 bathroom into 2 bathrooms. So I have a couple of photos of the house. This is the entrance side. This is as we go around. You go to the back eventually, and you can see the 3 dormers that are up there, and this is that back elevation. So what we're looking to do is to fill in between these 2 dormers and these 2 dormers with the shed dormer. All the materials are the same. We're going to do the rafter tails so that kind of ties across. We're doing it with the board and batten to match the piece down here so that it feels like it's part of the roof structure. And I think it's pretty straightforward. Here's the elevation. We did all 4 elevations, although of course you don't really see this from anywhere except on the back. If you note this dormer down here, you can see where we've dotted in the profile of that shed. And those are just filling them between the 2. In plan, this is the area over here where the 2 bathrooms are. This is 1 dormer, this is the other dormer, this is the dormer in the middle. So by filling in the 2, it gives us the head height to have those 2 bedrooms or 2 bathrooms. We're not actually expanding the building in any way other than filling in that gap. Here's the engineering drawings, not that you'd be necessarily interested in that, but if you have any questions.
Patty, what's existing there now?
Everything's existing except for this shed dormer and this shed dormer.
Oh, so the bathrooms are there now?
No, the bathrooms are not there. It's right now, it's 1 bathroom in the middle.
Mm-hmm.
Let me go to that plan. Mm-hmm. So right now, it's hard to see the dotted lines, but there's a bathroom here in the center, which is kind of not a great bathroom. Mm-hmm. So what we're doing is by putting those 2 sheds in, we're getting head height here and then here so that we can make those, make it be 2 bathrooms instead of a single.
Okay. It's a beautiful property.
It is.
Really nice. We walked by there. We never walked inside.
Oh, you should actually, do you know, I think it's called Smuggler's Cove.
No.
It's a walking trail that goes from Washington over to, I think, Lafergie along the golf course. And it takes you, this property faces down the slope to the golf course, and you can actually look up that slope and see it. The subdivision they did created, I think, 3 lots out of 1 where I think 8 would have been viable. And they put a restriction that the lots couldn't be re-subdivided, which somebody at some day will come forward and say, we want to subdivide. I know all 3 property owners have talked about it, but they all have to agree too. So, but that's not part of this, and it's not something I'm involved in.
And Patty, I think it's called Spoilers Run.
Spoilers Run, not Smugglers.
Thank you, Jennifer.
I like Smugglers Run better. It's like, the idea of the old days.
Smugglers Cove. I love it, Patty. I love it.
Yeah, I'll be looking out for pirates.
So this is the part of town that was involved in the 20s and the 30s with a lot of illegal liquor provisions.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Interesting history.
Yeah, the people who lived up there had their own sources of Canadian liquors, and they were bringing them down. And there's a house in Hastings that actually has a tunnel that goes, it's way up the hill above Warburton, and it goes down underneath everything, comes out on the water. And they used to bring the ships down or up, I don't know which one they went. And that's how they would bring the cases of Canadian whiskey.
And then have their illegal basement parties, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Jennifer shaking her head.
Yeah. Well, that was all back when I was much younger.
Uh-huh.
Back in the 20s. So you guys have any questions?
So Patty, this is facing the back of the house. It looks like it's facing out towards like a row of trees.
Yeah, it's actually facing towards the golf course, but there's another very large lot, I think 2 acres or 1.5 acres, something like that, that is between this property and the golf course property. So you're never gonna really find a way of looking at this unless you take a stroll.
Okay.
But I also think it looks really nice. So I don't, we've tried to keep the formal characteristics of this structure, which, it's come out fairly nice.
Can you go back to the elevator? Oh yeah, that one. So are those battens where the shed dormer is?
Yeah, there's a board and batten right now on the house that wraps around under the roof. So what we've done is we've picked up that board and batten and done that on the 2 shed dormers.
Okay. No, it's very nice.
That looks fine by me.
Yeah.
Brandon?
I'm good. I'm good.
Okay.
And I here can't talk, so.
Okay, okay, I vote to approve. I have a second.
I'll second.
Approved.
Good.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you. Don't go anywhere there, Patty. I believe on the beginning of February, we will have a joint meeting with the planning board to review Palisades, right?
Yeah, 156 Palisades. The planning board's called for a public hearing, and they've invited the architectural review board to be there. It's up to you, and I'm not trying to do anything I'm not supposed to do or not allowed to do. But if you would like me to, I can submit so that we would come to your next meeting, so you could see it before your meeting with the planning board.
That will be advisable. What we'll do is just present it. We will not comment, and we will. Everybody will be invited to the joint meeting with the planning board.
I'll make a point of submitting that this Thursday, so we have to submit for the planning board that day anyway.
Just for a brief overview on where we stand. Also, there is design guidelines that was prepared with Rob Lane.
Yep.
That I'm going to circulate for everybody to review. So to put everything in context for the joint meeting. Yes.
Sounds great.
Okay. So, and I guess we have no more items on this agenda. And before we close, also, I sent some notes on the Steve Tilley's historical district proposals and design guidelines that I circulated to everybody. If anyone has a comment or suggestion, would be welcome. And I make a motion to adjourn this meeting. So,
hold on, quick question.
Yes.
When do you anticipate wrapping up the comments on the guidelines? The board.
I believe that Steve Tilley received our comments. That was before the end of the year, and he was preparing some responses. But on our end, on my end at least, I'm good to have a formal discussion.
Okay, with us, the board of trustees.
Yes.
Okay.
Cool. All right. So, any other comments, questions? So, Brandon already seconded the adjourn of this meeting. So, in favor. Thank you. Happy New Year, everyone. And
wait, don't go away. I have a question to ask you on one of my projects, nothing to do with the AHRB. Has anyone done geothermal systems installations?